I want to deal with the fire over in Paris, France, at the Notre Dame cathedral on yesterday. I'm sure everybody's aware of that. If you're not, I don't know what rock you've been sleeping up under. That institution caught fire yesterday about mid-afternoon Paris time, and evening in Paris time and mid-afternoon our time. The back part of the Notre Dame Cathedral, a very famous, a very well-known museum of Catholic Christianity. The spire fell, and the rear end of that bad boy burned to a crisp. And some of the nave also burned as well, but we understand that the two front towers, the north and south towers, remain intact. And reports are that they were able to get a lot of the artifacts or some of the relics, Catholic people into that relic thing, out of the building before the fire consumed a large segment of the nave. Now, I need to tell you, I did send out a tweet saying that the fires of hell have consumed the Notre Dame Cathedral. And I'm sure a large number of you that have been listening to me perhaps thought, well, this must be the tribulation that Pastor's talking about. And more recently, over the last week, I have been talking about the end of the church age. There's no point in going in these churches anymore. There's no point in going to the Vatican. While I didn't outline or identify Notre Dame, I did say the Vatican and maybe Lakewood Church and Brooklyn Tabernacle and Times Square and a bunch of others around that have a pretty big name in Christendom. That there's no point in going in there. And I pointed out the Temple Emmanuel here in New York City and St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is a Catholic institution on Fifth Avenue across from Rockefeller Center. But let me quickly say that I don't have a word from the Lord on this fire as a direct word that God would want me to say that this was tribulation demonstrated. That is not what I have here to say. Now, in a general sense, that these churches are closed, that they are pointless, that they are worthless, I can say yes. And was the fire a part of the what I've been teaching as the tribulation? Well, absolutely yes. But the fact that just Notre Dame burned is not insignificant, but it is not major enough. What would be more cataclysmic, more tribulation eye-popping would be if the entire city of Paris was burning. Then we might want to look at that. But yes, the church age is closed. Yes, the Notre Dame is a dead cathedral. Yes, so is the Vatican. Yes, so is Lakewood Church. Yes, so is Jan and Paul Crouch ministry. Yes, 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 so is Temple Emmanuel. Yes, there's no doubt about it. All of these places might as well burn with fire. All of them. Every last one of them might as well burn with fire. But particularly about this word, this particular institution, would not say that this is significant of the tribulation in some major way, but it certainly does not. We don't want to hide the tribulation, and it's burned. I've been to Notre Dame on 3 occasions. To give you a little historical aspect of my understanding of that process, I was not looking at some place that I was unfamiliar with. I was very familiar with the spire and the back window of that church, and the nave. I've been in there. My first visit, I think, was in 1982. I was in Paris, and I was along the Seine River there, and I went inside of Notre Dame. And then, of course, I went back a few years later, and I think the last time I went, we took the students, and I held a brief prayer meeting inside of that building. We had a song service, and we had some of our students do some study of the building, of how long it's been there since the 12th century, etc. But I'm very familiar with the building. I've been in it 3 times. And one of the things I did is I sat there yesterday and watched it burn. I thought to myself, I said, well, Lord, what is it that you have allowed me such extraordinary experiences in life? I mean, from Rayford Prison to Notre Dame to holding a brief song service. And not to mention that, but I've been to a bunch of other places as well. And I just mused yesterday as I watched it burn. But I can tell you that Paris is an agnostic city, and France is an agnostic nation, or the downright atheist nation now. They may know of God or may acknowledge God, but they don't acknowledge Jesus as Lord. And they have Parisians, the French people, have no intention, for the most part, now not everybody, but 90% of them have no intention of worshiping God. French people have no intention of praising God. Parisian people in particular have no intention. I mean, it's an atheist city. Now, it used to be a very religious city. French, a number of great French theologians came out of France. A large number of writers and contributors of to the church history and New Testament ideology were French. A number of French philosophers that were based in their Christianity came out of France and out of Paris in particular. The legend is, it's a lie, that the Holy Grail is that Jesus and Mary Magdalene, pregnant with a child from Jesus Christ. Now, this is a lie, mind you, it's a lie. That they journeyed to the south of France, that they left Israel on a raft boat, and they traveled up the Mediterranean to the south of France, and the child of Jesus was raised in France in a French village. It's a lie. It's a lie. If you read the Holy Grail, it's a lie. But France did play a major part. And at one time, the Catholic Church moved from Rome to the south of France as well. And for 130 years, the papacy had its authority there in Rome. And it was a time of great gluttony. It was a time of the popes and the cardinals indulging in great wealth and indulging in the deepest recesses of sin. And so the papacy was once located in France. But, if you go to France now, it is a place, it's a godless place. They got all these cathedrals there that were built 300, 400, 500, 1,000 years ago. But there is little, if any, people there that actually believe in God there in France. So, watching that cathedral burn should be a sign to the Parisian people. They don't need it anyway. What's the point of having it? I understand it's a great tourist attraction, and many tourists, over 1 million tourists a year, traveled there to see Notre Dame. But I thought that I would talk about that a little bit here today, and I'll talk about it again as we go forward. But yeah, you're going to see other churches burn. You're going to see the same thing with Lakewood. And I don't have that as a particular word from the Lord. But what I do want to say, that the tribulation is here. And you're going to see other horrific events. I think what's happening in America right now and what's happening with Southern Baptists right now is far more alarming than the burning of Notre Dame. But yeah, it was an event. Now they say they're going to rebuild, and I want to know why. You don't plan to worship God. And you might want to look across the English Channel over there at England as well and drive about 40 miles once you get on the west coast, the east coast of England and into the city of London. You got Westminster Abbey over there and right there by Hyde Park over there in London. And it's only a ceremonial place as well. Got a lot of dead people. Got Mary Queen of Scots dead body lying up in that place. And I would think that the Westminster Abbey it will one day be similar kind of a situation. Nobody goes to church in England either, for the most part. Now, we do have Monique Pike, that's a staunch member of the ATLAH World Missionary Church, and God bless you. We have the Blawazi woman, Lord, I can't call her name, I should have brought her name down, who also is in London, and we got several other members that are members in London and Salisbury and in England. And they reach out to me because there's very little, if you will, stomp down religion going on, worship of God going down in England. So I think that when we look at Europe, Europe has become an agnostic, if not a downright atheist part of the world. The same thing in Germany. They just don't jiggy with the Lord anymore. Rome, Italy still holds its sense of a spiritual place, mainly because you got the Vatican there, and you've got, Roman as Catholics, Italians as Catholics. But we're looking at the demise of the church age has closed nonetheless. So what the church age has closed as it is, and so I propose we're going to see a lot more of these kinds of events taking place. And I'll speak more about this segment in the next segment that we have regarding the Notre Dame. It was a historic place, there's no doubt about it. Built in the 12th century. It's been around for a while. Are they going to rebuild? Well, let them rebuild if that's what they want to do. I mean, they can do that if that's what they want to do. But I'm sort of glad the matter has kind of moved off of the radar in terms of the news reporting, but I thought you would want to hear me say something about it. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.